The most explosive intro.
Such a
out
massive
there in the
explosion
world.
of goodness right off the bat. I mean, that's hot.
what
If
we
that
do.
doesn't get you jazzed for some toy news, I don't know what will.
I mean, I'm super plump right now.
I
Just
mean,
to be honest with you.
you look at Michael.
I'm feeling real swollen with joy.
Welcome to your doom.
Welcome to Figures Not Included.
Welcome.
As always, welcome to the joyful experience that is Figures Not Included. I am Mikey, along with Ed, as always, bringing you all the fun stuff in the toy globe, hemisphere, universe, galaxy, wherever you get your podcast from. We're happy that you joined us today.
Yes, for episode 10, I believe, finally hitting double digits. I hope
We're in the double digits, dude.
Oh, we finally did it. I'm proud of ourselves. We're sticking to it.
Proud of you. I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you for being a friend, traveling down the road and back again.
Thank you for being a friend. I wish I had that little song right now to play for. Thank you for being a friend.
But we get copyrighted in Russia.
What?
We can't play music because we get copyright strikes in Mother Russia.
Rats. We don't want that.
I wonder why just Russia.
We need the Ruskies to watch our show.
I mean, I've been talking to Putin, man. He just doesn't return my phone calls. So
let them have toys.
They know. Please, Vladimir, please, I'm friend. Please talk, please. We talk, we make love, we make music together.
I don't know about that far, but I'm with you on the toys.
I went too far in my diplomatic relations.
A little too much in the relation department, Michael.
How's your week been?
Keep it professional.
I tried. Well, that's my way of keeping it professional. That's my profession.
I get you. You have a OnlyFans.
I have a track record. It's in Russia, actually. So
you have Russian OnlyFans.
Russian, yeah.
Your name is Mike Honcho, and you spread your butt cheeks.
Michael Honcho. I bring pleasure to you. Yes.
Oh no. Okay. Well, enough of that.
Speaking of pleasure,
let's get to the toys. That's what people are here for.
That's what we're here. The toys from your boys here with Hot Toy News.
What's hot? What's not in the toy world?
What we do. It's what we like to talk about. What we do. It's what we're involved in. This week was again another what is it Groundhog Day or something? Because man, the Haulathon stuff just doesn't end. It keeps on coming.
They did nice. I mean, they kept it coming the whole month. Splitting it up, getting a couple drops here and there. You had luck online. You had luck in the stores. Not bad. Last week, I know I got lucky. A friend of mine, Mr. Brian, was able to hook me up with a couple of awesome finds like PandaCon and April. So I was really happy about those. I think there's unboxing of PandaCon going to be popping up real soon, so people can watch that. Check out all the goodies he comes with, because I think when we showed him off here on the channel, he was still in the box, so I was able to unopen them. But this week, I think both of us got lucky. Did we get lucky online, right? Target.com?
Yes. I was sort of cool because, as I showed on the last episode, I found PandaCon.
Yeah.
And our favorite, the evergreen April O'Neil, I found her as well. But, here's my look at them.
Join the club, Panda Club.
Panda Club, most exclusive kind of club. Exactly. PandaCon's awesome. We talked about it, how he's not been in any cartoons, and he's just an awesome figure. And there's something more cool
figure. I didn't look it up if he wasn't anything, but
we checked with our sources.
You got to watch that unboxing. He's got so many fun little things with him. Everything goes together real nice, really big compared to some of the others. You see him there with the turtle and with the Usagi, so you can see the height difference. This guy's a chunk. Talk about
he's a chunk. Yeah, he's great, man. He's got some weight to him. He's
great.
Cool. Yeah, it's just wonderful. So
Did
he's
they hit
really
us
cool.
That was what they hit us with this week, though. We talked about this last week. Let's go into this week.
This week we had quite a few things. We had the old man Raphael. Now you are, if people don't know, Ed's a big Raph head. That's his man. That's his dude. So he'll go
Raph
in on
is
every
my
single
man.
Raph. Yep, he's your
Cool but
man.
rude. Just
And
like
here's the old man version, just like you.
exactly. That's how I like to be. That's my strategy for life.
Yeah, you're also
Be
swollen and
be
green
rude,
sometimes.
but be cool
Or
too, and
fat.
that way people don't get mad at you.
Exactly. What do you think about this Raph?
I mean, this rap was so cool. I kind of like it went under the radar for me until recently, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the old man Raph is coming up." And I'm like, what are you talking about?" So I looked it up, and I was like, "Holy moly! How did I not pay more attention to this figure?" Super cool. You got this really cool pruny looking Raph with his trench coat there, his black cloak, and it just looked gnarly with the eye patch, signature size, fun little accessories. I mean, he looks like a nomad, wandering samurai type of thing here. Really cool figure.
Mm,
And like I said, I love Raph. Anytime they're going to throw Raph at me, I'm going to pick it up. So this one is just really well done. And of course, that Mirage style, it just, really strikes a chord. So I'm really happy I was able to just snag this one really easily on Target.com
yeah,
on Friday for the Haulathon. So very exciting. Can't wait to get this in hand.
perfect timing. I love that body. I love the reuse when it makes sense for stuff like this. Old man, you can't go wrong. I mean, old man, Logan, old man Raph, old man whomever. You can go old man as far as you want. Old man
That's what I'm telling
Lion-O
you. I think that's like a trend. Old men just work well. If you're an old man, whatever, you're gonna do well in life, you
who
know?
doesn't love an old man, you
No, old
know?
man, it's a new status quo. Old man Michael. Old man
Old man pickle. That's what they
You're gonna
call him.
love you, Michael.
There goes old man pickle waddling around.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Harrison
so he's
Ford, I
cool.
mean,
Got the clock cape, the patch. Love everything about that one. Love this two pack here. Tattoo and worm. You get picked up this one as well. You ordered this one.
oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't
Get
order that one, but you did.
Oh, I thought you picked this one up too, or no?
Oh, no, I picked up the Mirage, the one we talked about last week, the worm, the shredder, what is it called? Worms of Madness?
Yes, the worms. Sorry, when you said worm, I thought this was applying to this
Oh,
worm.
this worm.
Right. Yeah,
No.
that worm. Yeah.
No, that looks more like your worm, Michael.
Not my worm. I mean, that's a pretty rad worm. If I was gonna have a worm, it would be that one.
That would be a pretty
Uh,
gnarly worm. Scare a few people, though.
speaking of worms, want to give a shout out to Larry David Poole, who's out sick again. He sent us a picture of himself, just looking
The worms
really
have moved to the brain.
moved to
Uh,
his head.
I mean, he's
Um,
battling for his sanity right now.
yeah, you can tell his head's super swollen, all green, but he still has an
Full of worms.
amazing goatee. His hair looked great. I mean, he's still
At least he
presentable.
has his hair.
At least he has his hair. So shout out to Larry David Poole. Hope you
Get
feel
well
better, man.
soon, Larry.
Because
Hearts.
that thing looks really bad. You should get that checked out if you haven't got it checked out yet.
Definitely go to the doctor this week, Larry.
Yeah, get those worms out of your hole in your head.
Yeah.
Back to this worm. It's a really cool two pack. Did you ever get these when you were a young lad?
No, I
The
never
Playmates?
picked these up. I think these came out, like, later on towards the end of the line, and I wasn't really picking up as much turtle stuff, and
Mm.
so I remember the sumo guy. I don't remember the worm guy too much. I don't even know if they had a figure of him in the old Playmates line. I'd have to look it up. I remember a sumo guy. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
making it up in my
it
brain.
was Tattoo. I mean, I don't know
Right?
if they had another one, but Tattoo was definitely an old Playmates version.
Yeah, I remember him vaguely, and I just don't remember the worm guy. But even
Yeah,
though, I mean, even so, these are really fun. If you like that cartoon style, look at that guy. He's just a big
that nip.
old thug, big old spider tattoo on his belly. I mean, that looks really good, Michael. I mean, I think you.
I think you should get that
No,
tattoo.
I was about to say you should pick up that tattoo. That
No,
thing
I
will,
feel like this fits your body mold more than mine. This
but you
one.
have to put it right over the belly button, though. You know,
Right, but this one's on the abdomen, so
that's
imagine like a cool spot. Well, it would fit you, I think if it would really work for your
maybe I'll put. But I wonder, like, where the belly button is where the where the web squirts out, right?
it's like where your belly lint comes out, the web squirt.
The web is just belly lint. It's pretty foul.
Pretty foul, but it keeps
It's
predators
gonna be
away.
hard to find
So
a tattoo artist that is willing to
if you're a tattoo artist
okay,
and this sounds like a great idea, reach out to us at Figures Not Included. Ed will be your canvas and your muse. So
no, maybe not, maybe not.
his body is for your artistic consumption. Um, yeah, these look awesome. I mean, just this crazy '90s style, '80s '90s style is pretty rad, and Worm really delivers. I mean, I just noticed all this the gunk and sea life that's coming out of his whole body and the mouth,
It looks like
and
you in the morning, Michael, when you wake up without
it's
your
basically me. Yeah, I'm like, where's my coffee?
I need
Um,
coffee. Oh.
Especially then my eye just bulging out. Um, yeah, I
Uh,
relate to this one, but he's awesome. He's super cool looking.
he's really cool. I mean, like you said, this guy screams 90s. I mean, if you look at this thing, this is 100% 90s shtick. I love it. All the
Oh,
crazy
so good.
colors, the grossness, and your little
Yeah,
nighttime plushie there.
octopus leg, so cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm into that one. So really cool 2-pack. Some Hello Kitty for your Hello Kitty fans out there, and you have the Count if you're into the new Sesame Street stuff. Nice offerings there with Count, Bert, and Ernie. We got to see them at Toy Fair. They look awesome.
oh
The
yeah.
Big Bird is outstanding.
Waiting on that Big Bird. That is going to be a fun one. Definitely going to have this on the show.
100%. Is there anything else that you're looking forward towards the last week of Haulathon? I'm not sure if it was this week. It might have. Was this the last one? I'm not
I
sure. It
don't
might
know.
be.
I don't even know. I was going to ask you, is there any other
Well,
announcement for what's next? Because I thought this was the last one. Could be wrong, though.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I think there is one more. I know there is the glow in the dark Fugitoid.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that available already, though? That came out a while ago.
Did it come out a while
I
ago?
thought it did. I'm telling you, man. My brain is running on fumes.
Yeah.
I think I got one of Larry's worms around in there.
You're starting to look a little bit like the leader right
I am
now.
losing my memory,
You got some leader
by
symptoms
the hour.
happening every day. Yeah. But regardless, I think that kind of does it in terms of what we're interested in for Haulathon
I
this year.
believe so. I believe so. If something does pop up, we'll definitely bring it to you guys and let you know. But as of now, I believe we're good for this year's Haulathon.
Yeah, I think it was pretty successful. Were
Was.
you happy with the rollout? Would you have preferred everything come out at once, or do you like the week to week?
Honestly, I didn't mind it. I thought it was nice. It kind of spaced it out. It didn't give
Mm,
you like too much to pick up at one time. I
yeah,
thought things were easy to pick up. I like the fact that it was easy to go into a store. Like I think when we went looking, we found our stuff at the first store. Or no,
yeah.
that wasn't you. That was with David. And then
Well, when I went looking, I found them
yeah,
actually.
when you
So
went looking, yeah, that was actually the next week, and you went looking, you found them. So I don't think a lot of people had issues if they wanted it and they were searching, they found it, and then stuff seems to be readily available on Target.com. So I thought
yeah,
they did a good job of making everything
good job.
accessible. And yeah, good stuff. I mean, hats off to NECA for putting out such great figures this year, and for Target doing a good job of delivering that to people. So yeah, great holothon. I was
And
excited.
I think it worked out in terms of not just being in store, but online. Everything was online available, and it wasn't sold out within a moment's notice. I think Tattoo and Worms sold out pretty quickly, but if you were able to log on to your phone or to your computer,
Everything's computer.
then you wouldn't have a problem getting those.
Yeah, I think if you needed it, you could find it. And I'm pretty sure if you scroll into a Target in these coming days, you'll probably stumble upon it. So I wouldn't be too worried about picking these up if you missed out on the Target.com.
Yes, unless you're in New York, and no chance,
Wow, yeah.
no chance, absolutely
That's
not.
a whole other story, Michael. That's New
It's
York.
it's a whole other world, really. It's
Yeah.
a terrible world when it comes to Target because I think there's only 1 year I found stuff, and it's so infrequent
Like a
finding
dystopian
figures in
future for
stores.
toys.
I mean, well, there's a bunch of fake Targets. It's like IMAXs
Yeah.
around the world that aren't real IMAXs. They're not 70 millimeter. It's just fake Targets that don't really have a toy
Little tiny
section.
Targets. They only have like two sections for like clothes and like women's hygiene products or something.
I mean, obviously I go to, but
That's your
to take
favorite aisle.
my favorite sound like a grade 8 creep right now. So,
That's where you go around.
uh, You know where to find me if you go to Target.
It's New York, man. What do you expect?
I mean, it's a bunch of creeps running around, so
I
that's what
just
we
see you
do.
running around in a trench coat like Blade Runner, hunting down instead of hunting down the what do you call them? The clones. What can I remember the name now? I hate it when I can't remember the names. You know what I'm talking about. But
What are you talking
they're toys instead. Oh, Michael, good
about?
time.
Man,
Good time.
you see me in your Target aisle.
Uh,
That is not good news for you.
but at least they have really good food in New
Be
York,
like,
right? Not every corner is a good restaurant.
yeah.
Right. Right.
Right. Speaking of stuff you may not want to see, but you're gonna see it. I'm happy about this. Disney has extended their license with Hasbro, so we're getting more Star Wars,
Yep.
more
Yep.
Marvel,
Hasbro,
and
Disney, still in
people.
bed together. Still
Mm-hmm.
jumbling the sheets. Hopefully, we'll get some good stuff in the coming years. I mean, it's been a pretty good relationship, in my opinion. The Hasbro does a good job with their Marvel license. They've done a great job with the Star Wars license. I think Disney's the one who's kind of dropping the ball with not giving us better content for Hasbro to make great toys out of.
Yep.
That's my opinion. But all in all, the
Oh,
products are good for the things that we're excited about. So yeah, I'm excited to see the continuation of that relationship flourish and blossom.
yeah, I mean, they referenced, popular lines of Black Series and Vintage Collection. They love all the stuff with the lightsabers and the Darth Vader and the Mandalorian. They
Yeah, they've
sing a
done a
lot of
great
Marvel
things like the
Legends. So
helmets, a
yeah,
lot
those
of
are
like
all.
role play stuff, the helmets, the lightsabers, the accessories like the gauntlets from Avengers. I mean, they really like done more than just stick with like figures and stuff. So we've got some pretty neat stuff from Hasbro. So yeah, I'm not complaining about that. I like what they're doing. I like what they've done, and I'm excited for what they're doing.
So were you ever on? I mean, there was a small swell of people saying, "Give it to McFarlane" or "Give it to someone else," the Marvel license or the Star Wars license. Were you just sort of that's a bunch of baloney, or were you actually hoping it would go to another company? And what would that company be if you had one?
Honestly, honestly, no. I actually have been a fan of Hasbro's production team. I love what they've done ever since they really buckled down and got the Marvel Legends back on track with the return of Marvel Legends. Because when they originally took that license over from Toy Biz, I mean, they were you know pooping the bed. They were terrible figures. That's
Those are
literally
the worst
why I
quiz
collect
I've
Marvel
ever seen.
Legends and jumped over to DC classics from Mattel just because
Yeah.
I couldn't stand those figures, and Mattel was killing it with the Four Horsemen design of the DC classics.
Mhm.
So it actually worked out really well for me because I got to switch gears with DC for a little while there. But then when they fixed the line, brought it back with the Return of Marvel Legends. Ever since then, I think they've been killing it. The figures are really nice. My only problem with Hasbro is price point on a lot of things. I
Yeah.
think,
Especially now.
yeah, they got some high prices on a lot of things, especially on like their own IP, like a GI Joe. I don't know why GI Joe has to be the same price as like Marvel or Star Wars because they own the GI Joe license. I would
Mhm.
imagine those figures could be $5 cheaper.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's like, that's we're gonna price it the same as the other stuff, get that money. But
Yeah, just everything kind of falls in line with everything. But yeah, I mean, at a certain point, they were 20. Everything was $20 as
yeah,
at one
and
point. Then everything bumped up to $5, and
yeah.
that's the normal
Well,
now.
you figured, where there's little places they could give you guy, the consumer a little break, it would be nice. So like, the people that own the stuff like He-Man and like G.I. Joe, those, I figured could be a little cheaper, but what are you gonna do,
Ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen.
You
But
fool.
I like it. I wouldn't I think there's so much into the Marvel Legend line already. Hasbro has been doing it for such a long time, and they pumped out so many figures. It'd just be kind of crazy to jump ship right now and like go to another one. I felt a little bit like that when DC was given to McFarlane because I just figured I've put so much into the DC Classics line. It was a little crazy to like start a whole new McFarlane line, and I think that kept me from buying a lot into the line just because I'm like, I can't really buy a whole other set. I cherry picked the line for a while and just kind of, pick the runs I really, really liked.
Mhm.
But, I think if someone started a whole new Marvel license right now, I don't know if I would be game for picking up all the characters over again in the new style.
Yeah. Right. Because
Eh,
you're starting from zero at that point. You
it
have
would
a
be interesting.
whole.
It would
It's a brand
definitely
new line you're getting into.
Yeah, it would be a new collector's, market. It would not be for, I think,
Right.
myself, just because I've been in the game for so long and I've already invested so much in the
In the
Hasbro stuff.
game, babe.
But, there's exceptions. Like I said, with the McFarlane, I picked some DC stuff. I'm sure I would pick up Marvel stuff from another company here and there.
I mean, you
But
do through Mayfax. You do it
yeah,
through
exactly. There's a
New
lot of
Arts.
companies that I do
It's
that.
Mondo. There's all different companies that do their own Marvel stuff, and
Right.
we're in that era now where you're really picking and choosing. Okay, which is your favorite iteration? Is it the Kyoto one? Is it the Figure Arts one? Is it the Moffitt one? You have a wider range of choices now, where
Yeah.
you can pick and choose your favorite version, which is a nice place to be, but also it can be dicey because it can get very expensive and you can get
That's what
overloaded
happens.
with stuff.
To me, I like to try to say, like, I'm only gonna pick up my favorite characters, like the Batman or the Wolverine or the Spider-Man, the ones I like to collect in quantity. But then you're
Yeah,
like, "Oh, but that Green Lantern looks really good," or that Carnage looks really good. And then before you
that
know it, you
happens.
get a bunch of the characters in that other line. So you have 2 lines, tons of characters. So yeah, it's a slippery slope for sure. So I would
Yeah.
definitely, be weary of that.
It's yeah, it's that thing where I try also to pick, okay, which are the characters I love infinitely that I always want to have versions of. Turtles are obviously probably number one on my board.
Yeah.
Street Fighter, Mega Man is up there as well for me. And there's not a lot of choices, so I'm
Mhm.
in good company that I don't have to go through a wide gamut of different Mega Man figures. But
Right.
now they're starting to come out. Now you have 3-0 doing some. You have Jada obviously doing their thing. They're going in with all the robot masks, not all of them, but a good amount. And Haya Toys is doing a Mega Man X. Who knows what they're going to do? And they have a higher price point. So I
Yeah.
might be effed in the A with that one. But
There's a lot to
um,
choose from.
there's a lot to choose from, which is, it's good, but scary at the same time. But so just
Yeah,
making
yeah.
sure
You just, you
you watch
gotta you
yourself,
gotta watch yourself.
redirect yourself.
All good in moderation, I say. You know, just
It's like everything.
yeah, pick what you enjoy. Try not to overdo it on things you don't, might not necessarily need, and that kind of thing. But that's the fun in collecting. You never know what's gonna grab your eye, your attention at the moment. You pick it
Hmm.
up. The cool thing now is that if you're tired of it, you can usually sell it. A lot of these collectibles hold some value, so that's nice, and you can
Yeah.
always switch them out for other things. So it's kind of like a fun way to collect and trade and sell off and buy new stuff. A lot of people do that, so I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about any of it. What
Speaking about,
I
what is it? Import companies we're talking about like Mafix and Revel Tech
Bandai.
and now
Yeah.
Bandai. You were talking to me about a new Goku figure
Well,
that
yeah,
is
it's one of the things you're.
revolutionizing the
Yeah,
whole
the
articulation system for Bandai, right? Tell us about that, Michael.
yeah, the all new Super Saiyan Goku. This is really exciting, really interesting stuff. You talked about eye candy. You talked about getting the versions of characters you want. I have yet to pick up a Goku because I'm just sort of waiting for. Okay, is this the Prime version? I don't really collect Dragon Ball Z to begin with. I'm always very tempted. I might go in on this one because this is the first version. This is from the Cell Saga. This is the whole new sculpt. This is really cool by Bandai. They say that this is new chest, shoulders, waist, knees, other parts of the figure
Is
feature
this
a new
showing up on our
structure
feed, Michael?
that combines appearance with mobility. So here is what it looks like. This is a whole little ad that they did. Um, so you have a new neck joint, so you can actually move the neck up or down for just shorter or longer range. The arms can cross now. You have arms that can reach higher than just a standard T pose. Knees are interesting. So knees, there's always that thing of do you do single jointed, double jointed? Is the standard right now pinless? So these knees have gone sort of reverse engineered to be single jointed,
Hmm,
which I mean that's sort of an interesting choice to make. Why not just do a nice smooth double jointed
right.
knee? But if you get the same range from a single one and it doesn't break up the sculpt, wouldn't that be the way to go? So that's sort of the impetus of this one. You have a waist that looks really good. It can bend backwards really nicely, bends forward. It only has one cut at the waist and is covered up by the belt. It's all looking pretty seamless. You have interesting, these are really interesting. These shin joints, how they work. It's very interesting. So a joint has been added in his shins to improve range of motion and enable his powering up poses to feel even more intense. Do you like your intense posing, Ned?
Oh, I love intense posing. When I got to figure out, I want it to look really dynamic, really edgy. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So
The
these
higher the
shins,
intensity, the better.
I mean, you gotta have some intense figures, man. And
Yeah.
these they're
I
intense
like
shins.
I like my toys like you like your women, Michael. Bendable and
Posable,
intense.
bendable, and intense. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
am I wrong?
I like them with shorter and longer necks.
I mean,
I
I
like
think that's what you
them.
told me. So
I like it when they're $30, like this figure is. Um, no, I mean, what do you think about the figure? Are you impressed at all by all this new engineering?
yeah, I mean, I think it looks fantastic. The idea of it all sounds really, really cool. I'd love to get one of these in hand and really get to mess around with it, and maybe compare it to some of the other ones that they've done, and just really see how much better the articulation is, how much more movement you get, and also aesthetically, does it look as good? Is it are they doing a good job of making it look more fluid and less breaks in the figure? So yeah, I mean, it's cool every time a company is trying to make improvements. I'm all for it, and I just hope these improvements are successful and they give us a much more enjoyable experience when we're posing and playing with these toys.
Yeah, yeah. This one seems to offer it, and again, $30 compared to what standard domestic figures are. I mean, that feels like a pretty good deal for a brand new sort of reinvented Goku, a new figure art style.
Yeah,
I like people. I mean, I like when the arms cross. That always feels a pretty important thing to do. You want that range, and
yeah,
the next stuff is cool. I love what the arms can actually have more. I like this little joint right here under the armpit, a sort of a ball joint in inside the arm and the shoulder.
you love
So
those
that
balls under the armpit.
well, I mean, I love a good ball joint. Don't get me wrong. You more ball joints, the better.
Yeah.
That's how I like the party. And the single jointed knees, I mean, it looks like it does the job, right? I mean, if you get a little bit more limited range, but it looks better, are you good with that trade?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. If it looks good and you can still get it into pretty much, the poses you want. Maybe they're not perfect, but they're close. I'm okay with that. You know,
Yeah.
my only concern with these kind of improvements is like, what does that mean for the collector who's already invested in a lot of these figures? Are they just going to start pumping out all of them again with all
Yep.
this new connect technology? And does that mean, I have to rebuy them all if I want the best versions? You know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so yeah, that's always the thing about you buying a line for a long time is that eventually they'll start improving the figures, and then you're stuck with deciding whether you're happy with the ones you have or you want to invest again in all these new much more what would you call it, modernized articulation
Yeah.
and style and stuff to the figure. So yeah, this might be a big endeavor, especially with the price tag on a lot of these import figures.
Right.
We'll see what that means. But hey, if you're just looking for a really awesome Goku and they're putting out something like this that looks to really clean up a lot of the issues from the older ones and streamline it into a really nice, clean figure, yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Think so. Great. It
Oh,
brings three interchangeable facial parts too. So you get your screaming, you get your clenching teeth, and you get your smiling Goku.
yeah.
Interchangeable head. You get that beautiful flowing lock of hair from the battle scenes. Four types of interchangeable hands. So you get a good amount of value for a $30 figure that is brandly engineered. And yeah, I think it's going to be a thing where you're going to see a lot of old characters that you thought were already pretty great are not going to be on this if it makes sense. And what are those going to look like? If you have your Piccolo, you have your anything that's outside of a Goku figure, what's going to be done with them? Or this just strictly just for those type of figures with that style?
Yeah,
Um,
we'll see
so
what Bandai decides to do with it. It's exciting though. I just finished watching Dragon Ball Daima, and I kind of put it off for a little bit. For I finally got to binge through most of it in a couple sittings, and well, pretty much all of it. I watched the whole thing actually. So yeah, there's some really cool ideas there. There's a couple of new versions of like Vegeta and Goku we see in that one. We see Vegeta finally achieving Super Saiyan 3, and we see Goku achieving Super Saiyan 4 with the new Akira Toriyama style, which is really, really cool. So, what are those figures going to look like? Are we going to get, those will be really fun because we haven't seen those figures yet. And if they incorporate a lot of these really neat new tweaks that they've done to the figures, I think we're just in store for some really cool character designs that they're going to put out with all these new elements.
No, and I get your point of saying like, okay, now we gotta start a whole new collection with this new updated body. I want these companies. I want Bandai. I want Mezco. I want all these different companies, Mafex, Jada, even to just always keep reinventing themselves and upgrading their thing. Because if you have the resources to do it, do it. Because I think people are excited about that, and
Oh yeah.
you know, and that's what you should do. What I'm also excited about, and I missed this last time we were talking about Star Wars Celebration stuff, was this General Grievous figure from Figure
Oh
Arts.
yeah.
What do you think about this bad boy?
I mean, this figure I think lends himself really good to like a figure arts version, just because he's such a neat design. He's very robotic. His articulation and everything just lends itself well to the nice, clean production of a figure arts or import figure in general. You're gonna get the cloth cape with the wire. You're gonna get really good joints that move fluidly and are very posable. You're gonna get the good plastics that are not gummy or bendy, so you can actually get these kind of dynamic poses. So yeah, it's a really cool one. I think people are gonna
Poor
really.
lightsaber looks so cool. He looks awesome, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at all the things you can achieve with this figure, and yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun.
I love the way it looks.
Yeah,
I really
I
do.
always wish though that
Like,
when he took the lightsabers, he would turn them red. I always think he would look so much cooler with like 4 red lightsabers.
well, now you can do that.
Yeah,
You can do that.
I
You
actually did
have
that with my vintage collection one. I just gave him a bunch of red lightsabers. He looks
Oh,
really.
you did that. That's cool. Are you gonna go take the boys to go see Revenge of the Sith? It's out in theaters again.
It was on theaters, and I thought about it. It's just things have been so busy lately. But yeah, if I get a chance, I would definitely like to take them to see it in the big screen. I would love to, and I'd love to watch it again too, just to see it. And I remember it was really exciting going to the theater, even though it wasn't like the perfect movie. It was really fun, and it was really enjoyable, and it was good Star Wars. So yeah, I would definitely love to take them. So hopefully I can squeeze it in.
Squeeze them in, man. I remember my favorite memories of going to the movies was back in Miami. We planned out those prequel parties. We would do episode 2. I think we went to go see it at what was it, Dolphin Mall? I remember
It
we
was
went to
either
go see Attack
Dolphin
of the
or Town and
Clones.
Country. I remember.
This
Yeah, I
is
was
Miami, so if you're a Miami local, you'll know these places. But yeah, we went to go see it. Midnight showing. We all freaked out when Yoda was hopping around like he was high as hell. It was just a really crazy moment.
I remember
And
that.
then
I remember sitting and like we were like one of the breaking things in the aisles where there was like a lot of room in front of us. And I remember sitting next to I believe you and our uncle, and then that scene happened and Yoda started flipping out. I remember just kind of like sliding off the front of my seat and just like gasping like ah!
what
Like
the
freaking out. I think I
heck?
sounded like a droid, going haywire like in the movies
What?
because it was
Yeah,
just so over
yeah.
the top. Really,
Everyone
really.
freaked out.
Yeah,
Everyone was
it was a
clapping and
cool
peeing
movie theater
themselves. It
experience.
was yeah. It was, and same thing for Revenge of the Sith too. We I think we did the midnight one for that, but I
Yeah, I remember
specifically
that one because I always tell the story that like I got off of work at like 2 o'clock and went there with my wife, or yeah, we were married by then, and then everyone was supposed to meet with us, and we are gonna wait out all the way to midnight and have like fun, and none of you showed up till like 11:55. So it was just me and her standing there the whole time, the whole day. Thanks, guys.
like, hey, we're here. You're just
Did it!
wasting.
Yay!
Yeah, let's have the party. Yeah,
5 minutes.
good memories to those. Good memories of
Great
when we
memories.
go to Walmart and Toys R Us for the midnight releases.
That was fun. I used
Always
to love those.
Yeah, yeah. So really cool to kind of get that feeling again, and it would
Oh,
be fun to go watch Revenge of the Sith. The prequel, have a new, there's a new love and appreciation for them, and a newfound
yeah,
respect. I think
that's one of
even
my
for
favorite parts about, letting movies kinda age and simmer like, like a stew or like a fine wine, because, people let go of their animosity and, like, they're disgruntled from,
their hate.
yeah, from the original, emotions that they got when they watched the movie, because a lot of people hated these movies, and now there's so much fondness, and you can see it, I think, displayed mostly when Hayden Christensen has made his recent, interviews and stuff like that. He gets so much
Yeah,
now, and he's even talked about it, like, how when they were done with the original ones, and it was just a lot of negativity behind those movies, and he felt like, oh, this was terrible, this was such a, not what I was expecting. But now I remember, the first time they brought him back, when I think he shows up in Ahsoka. He went to one of these interviews, and he just started, like, kind of tearing up and kind of weeping of just how excited everybody was for him, and so, yeah, very cool. Um and I like the fact that people can just kind of look back and say, like, you know what, regardless if it was like the best movie ever or not, it was fun, and I want to enjoy that.
yeah, yeah. It's cool to see people reconnecting with that series and showing love to him. Ahmed Best, who got so much ridicule for being Jar Jar Binks, and we all love Jar Jar now. Jar Jar is our friends,
Well, especially
So
with the whole
time
theory that
heals all wounds, really.
he's actually the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Jar Jar, and that he instigated everything. That's kind of
It,
fun. That really kind
it
of
would have
put.
been a better series if he
Yeah.
actually
Oh
was
yeah,
the
I
man
think it
behind
would have
everything.
done differently. Well, I think it wasn't like Darth Jar Jar coming to like Fortnite or something. It's like it's a
I
big
would
thing
love
now. It's
Darth
very
Jar
interesting.
Jar. Give
I
me
like
Darth Jar Jar everything.
Darth Jar Jar.
That's like one of those Timothy Zahn books, Darth Jar Jar. You would get like
I know,
extended
right?
universe kind of
Someone to read it.
thing.
Yeah, we need someone to write it. If it's an Elseworld story or whatever, at least,
Yeah,
put it out there. It needs to be out in the ether. We need to read it.
people need it now
We need to
more than
see it.
ever.
We need to experience it. A full length feature.
Well, I dig that General Grievous. Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
We are big fans, and you mentioned it before with DC Four Horsemen. Always doing great stuff. Figure Obscura,
Yes.
obviously
Now,
always really cool. Ganesha is their new Figure Obscura.
yeah, I always like this line. This was one of my favorite lines besides Mythic Legions, just because it allowed them to tackle such interesting characters, a lot of, pop culture characters, a lot of, public domain characters. Um, that you just were like, "Oh, that would be kind of cool if there was a figure of that," but, it's not attached to anything in general or an IP in general, so you don't really see them. But they're just able to, like, go out there and say, like, "Hey, what would make a really cool figure?" And we've seen some great ones. Last year, they gave us, Egyptian gods, Bastet and Anubis. This year, we're getting Ganesh here. Just, I mean, crazy detail. I mean, look how well this is put together. You can tell there was a lot of thought behind, the sculpting and the detail work on this, the accessories. I mean,
Mm,
look at that.
cool.
It's like
Yeah,
ridiculous
the
how
accessories are incredible. Yeah, the
so
baggy
cool,
pants.
And it's neat to get something different like this. Like we said, we got
Yeah,
Egypt. You see a lot of stuff, like you see a lot of Egyptian gods, you see a lot of Greek gods, but you don't see that many Indian gods in toy form. So
no.
this is really neat. I like it. I would like to see more of these kind of figures being made. I would love to see, like we were
Yeah, the
talking about,
detail on this thing, it's
uh,
incredible.
yeah, just more of these kind of like obscure, really neat, interesting characters that just exist out there. And, they can make these really, really fun toys out of them. I mean, how cool is this?
Super cool. I love all the detail, the way they designed this snout and the articulation right there to move it around. I'm guessing this is on a ball joint, so you can move that thing around. Just the quality of it looks so cool. The interchangeable, and look, there's the extra snout that's sort of twisty. So,
Hmm.
um, that's really cool. I mean, all these amazing details and accessories are so intricately done. The extra arms, you have the rat, all these other pieces, these bracelets, the food. Especially love all the different food
Yeah.
items that are there. It's a really cool look, and I love when Figure Obscura does stuff like this, like
Yeah.
you said.
I'd love to hear
Always
him
a
talk
such
about I would love to hear him talk about, like, the research they did to create all these little bits and, like, the detail on the axe, all the bangles, the mask that you saw there, why the food, why the fruit, it's like just really cool ideas of like how did that come up and how, did they decide to go ahead and execute a lot of those things because it just adds so much to the figure. So very exciting, very cool. I'm excited to see what's next for Figure Obscura. Hopefully we'll get some really cool reveal soon enough.
what would be out of the mythic characters out there, what would be the one you would want to see of a
Oh, I would love to see something like Quetzalcoatl, something, like Mayan related. I just think it would look so cool,
Mm,
And they've always given us a little bit of a tease when they did, like I think we've talked about this before. They went with that kind of style for their snake people in the Mythic Legions line. So I would love to see, something along that um, line, something in that realm. What about you? Is there anything particular character out there you'd like to see?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I always go back to like Greek gods and stuff like that. I think those are always infinitely cool designs. I love that they go into literature as well too.
Mhm.
You know, Edgar Allan Poe stuff is really cool.
Yeah, the
That's
Red
always
Death,
super
the
interesting.
the red was it the Red Death? That figure was
Yeah,
so cool. I think it was a little bit of a sleeper. People didn't really realize how cool that figure was underneath the cloak. Super, super neat. Really
yeah.
cool. Very
Maybe
creepy.
like a Beowulf or a
Beowulf,
Grendel.
Grendel,
You
yeah,
know, I think those are really cool
and
designs
Modi.
that they could go with. They can kinda go wild with that thing. I think
Yeah,
that would be super cool. Um, yeah, um, decrepit Rudy Giuliani, but I think you already get those with, some there's a Necronominus figure that you can use to recreate a melting, smolting Rudy Giuliani,
there
but,
you go. To see some of
that'd be
those,
my, vote for there for
undead
evil,
builder packs.
Dead builder pack, outside of the Four Seasons, landscaping. Um, yeah, really cool stuff there from the Four Horsemen team. Always love when they do these surprise drops. So we'll see what else they
Yeah,
have
we'll see
in
what's next.
store for us. Well, what's always in store with us basically every week is some sort of tariff news. I call it liberal fear mongering, or that's sort of how we discuss it in our private chats. But it's a
Sharing the
true thing.
masses, Michael.
Well, it's interesting because I always want to get your perspective on it, especially as a retailer, especially someone that has their own store and has to deal with this, directly. And you don't have to give away your secrets or the real behind the scenes stuff. I don't want to, put you on the spot per se, but even if just with small things, we're talking about Larry and he had placed an order for something on eBay, and this was the message he got. It said, "Thank you for your time. They had to cancel the order. We are
Cancel.
facing difficulties of shipping due to tariff issues. Is and sources not contributing with us, or I'm not sure what. I think he's ordering a plushie for his boy. He's ordering a plushie for
It's
his
the
little
children
boy.
that suffer, Michael. The children are suffering. We
We're
need
also
madness to stop. But yeah, I mean, there's really no secrets or anything. It's just, how we kind of, roll with the punches. We have to decide, what to kind of look out for, what to prepare for, get some
yeah.
what we can, stock up on the things we can. And, a lot of it is just kind of wait and see. We don't really know what it's going to look like, in
It
3
feels
months.
like a Y2K thing where you're stocking up on non-perishable goods and then waiting for the climactic end, and then eventually it just kind of goes away and you go back to normal life.
That's kind of the hope that it will, we don't really
Yeah,
know, and,
I
there's
know.
all these, like, doubts that, like, "Uh-oh, does this mean that, nothing's coming from China anymore? Is this the beginning of the end? Is this the
Well, I mean, there is a
are
thing
we all
of
here?"
I mean, well, import company, HLJ, those companies are not doing any more US shipping with FedEx and UPS, so now you
No,
have to do EMS shipping,
and
so
so
those are all disabled now, and who knows for how long.
yeah, and this comes from, China deciding not to, ship, through their mail system to the United States, and
Yeah.
now I've heard, things about, tariffs not affecting toys and other products, and so hopefully, that pans out and we can see these companies drop their added tariff charges on it. I mean, I know a lot of companies are still planning on shipping stuff. They're still getting their orders and shipments from China. I just don't think that China right now, they're kind of disgruntled, so they're just saying, hey, we're not just going to ship anything anymore. So I don't really know, but then you got all those like TikToks and reels or whatever of people from China saying, hey, order directly from us and we'll send you $2 Nikes and Lululemons. I know that's your favorite thing to
Oh,
wear.
I love a good tight yoga pants. I mean, you know
Exactly.
me.
You look good in them. You can really pull
I
them off.
feel good in them.
Got the legs for it, Michael.
I feel I got the backside for sure.
Firm legs. A lot of
Nice. Oh yeah, I'm full of
you
cake.
got that cake, Michael. No, but anyway, uh, uh,
Stop thinking about my cake and just to get to your point.
I don't really know what their deal is, and I just hope to see things get resolved, and so people can start getting their plushies for their children. Their
Children,
Lululemon leggings. So they can strut their cake, and their
don't
two
throw my
dollar.
cake everywhere, man. Come on.
Yeah, and their toys. More importantly, the toys. We need
Toys,
the
yeah.
toys, and hopefully we can start getting those things at prices are already high. Nobody. I mean, how much have we talked about just prices in general being high, and now we're
Yeah.
adding tariff charges to it. So it's just like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, this is just it's out of hand. So we need to figure that out ASAP.
I love Tesla.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of soured my enthusiasm a little bit. Not gonna lie, just sort of because you get every single day some sort of new update from a third party seller or a company overseas that
'Cause you
sells
just you love
imports.
watching CNN, Michael.
No, no, I'm not CNN crying and hate love watching all this terrible news.
You're watching
It's
Down Lemon.
no, I watch old reruns of Sally Jesse Raphael. That's what
Exactly.
that's
That's where you should be getting your
that
information
that's
from.
where I get my info. That's why I'm outdated with all my information, you know? I'm still getting over, like, the Gulf War, but it's those kind of things where it's just part of your I mean, especially if you're just in the toy world, and you are too, that you're just dealing with this on a daily basis now, you know?
Yeah,
It's
it's every
inevitable.
day. You're keeping your ear to the ground, listening to what's the issue, what's happening. We're talking to our distributors, and we're just hoping for good news. We're hoping for things to settle down, but it's difficult because you just don't know. It's out of our hands, and
Yeah.
hopefully it'll get resolved. But as of
I
now,
think that's the thing. It's just so out of your hands, and you
yeah,
don't know what the real outcome is. You're just sort of in this
yeah.
weird
I just
cycle.
I feel like we're just playing it day by day, and
Yeah.
so far it hasn't been too terrible, and hopefully it'll continue. But obviously we've been at the beginning of it all. Now, as time has passed, and things are going to start getting more scarce, or we're not going to get the shipments in, or we're not going to be buying as much because it's too expensive, or people aren't making it anymore because it's too expensive. So that's where we're really going to see if this is going to add up to anything, or are we going to be able to skate on by without too much disruption. So we'll have to wait and see on that.
Well, if you're worried that toys are going the way of the dinosaur, fear not, because you can get all your toys now at Hidden Temple
We got
Toys.
plenty.
Burning heat.
We call him Bernie.
So,
I,
we talked about those toys. You got any I'm sure there's some cool stuff you got at the store this week.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of really cool stuff. So, like I said, so far so good. We've still been getting some fun things at Hidden Temple. We try to keep this, stock coming in. A lot of new things. We've gotten some older stock, like Green Goblin from the retros back in line. The
Hmm.
was it Professor X in wheelchair is back in stock. A lot of cool like
Wheeljack.
stuff like that. Gotten some more imports. We'll be getting some, I think, this week as well. What else we have? Man, we just got in some really cool stuff. We got a lot of trading cards like Pokemon. We just got into the Japanese Pokemon cards. So if
People
you're
love Pokemon cards.
people love Pokemon. I wasn't really privy to how much people just love Pokemon, but we started carrying them just because it's a little, extra avenue into pop culture that people just love, and it's been really, really fun, and I learned a lot through there. So we've definitely been carrying more Pokemon, and we've got a lot of more Pokemon people coming through the store, which is super fun. And so, yeah, a lot of really cool toys. So check out our stuff out online, hiddentempletoys.com, or come visit me in Selma, North Carolina.
Give him a firm handshake.
Firm handshake and a free sticker.
Not on the ass.
What? No,
What? Oh, sorry.
we don't do
Not-
that.
no.
That's a New York thing.
So we don't do that. You get shanked. That's when we say hello. Um,
So
uh,
anyway, before we move on, let's talk about something more fun, like leaks. I really enjoy talking about the
who
leaks.
doesn't love a good leakage, especially when it's not in your pants? Shout out to Preternia who saw these the other day. These are the next wave of Super 7 Thundercats, and everyone obviously requested King Lion-O. So there you go with nice crown, Red Eye, and Wizra. And this is where I sort of like,
Whoa.
okay, I think I'm
Out.
out. I'm out.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're scraping the bottom of the barrel with Thundercats right now. I mean, oof,
I don't know any of these. I
I'm a
don't
big
know.
Thundercat fan,
You are.
but oh yeah, I'm not super keen on these characters at all, really. Hey, there might be some the guys out there who are into them and they really love all the episodes and all the weird characters they
For
threw out.
sure.
But yeah, I'm just, and this happens a lot with toy lines that they really go into creating a lot of the characters. We've seen it in Marvel Legends, we've seen it in DC. When you get into
Yeah.
those weird, obscure characters, some are hits and some are misses. Some people really, really want, and it ends up being a really good figure, a sleeper hit, and others, tend to pile up, and you'll find them in clearance.
Yeah.
But King Lionel, a cool idea. I think his crown is a little goofy,
Yeah.
but still, if you like Lino and he's a king in this version, he's got his awesome robe or,
He's got
or
his
cape.
staff, his whirly staff too.
So yeah, I mean, not too bad.
It's not too bad, you know. It would be cool if the crown comes off, but it doesn't seem like it does, or they have an alternate head with just a regular head with a cape,
Yeah,
which might be cool. But King Lionel, why not? Red Eye, I'm not familiar with Red Eye, but he's big, bulky, and gray, with his chest piece and a screaming face and
yeah.
red eyes. He does have that, and a wand or
Don't know
staff.
anything about this character.
The scepter, really. I don't know anything about him. And Wizra, what can you tell me about?
Freudian
Who
slip there, Michael. Jizra.
I think.
Man,
Oh, I think I was watching a different Thundercats. I was
different
watching a
figure,
different
Michael.
one. Yeah,
Those are
I googled
different
Thundercats and something else popped up, and
There's a different kind
and
of
then Jizra showed up. I was like, oh wait, this isn't the one I remember.
that's a different toy line, Michael.
But I watched it anyway. It was
You
great.
found you found that one in the red light district over there in New York. That was not Super 7.
Thundercats. Yeah.
Oh, good one.
What do you what about? Do you have any connection to
No,
Wizra?
honestly, this makes me think of the Batman bad guy from the old Adam West
Yes.
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, yeah.
when I saw this guy, that's what I thought this was. And yeah, I'm like, interesting.
This
Not
ain't
what
your
I would.
father's Pharaoh. Yeah.
The,
I'm not familiar with him at all.
the only obscure Thundercats character that I remember because I loved the episode as a kid. I don't know why that because back then you didn't see it serialized because you couldn't watch every single episode, and even then
Right.
they would change them up in order, so you never see them in order. And so I just remember catching this one episode over and over again where Lionel battles King Arthur and Excalibur. And
What?
Excalibur and the Sword of Omens battle each other. Like they fly out of their hands, and like the two swords are just crashing and slashing in the sky. Really cool episode. I you know me, I love fantasy, I love medieval stuff, so it was really cool. Where's my King Arthur? There you
This
go.
one? That's
Yeah,
him? Wow.
where's
Look
my
at
King
that.
Arthur figure? I want King Arthur with Excalibur. Now, give me that figure and I will buy it. Just because for me, that's the obscure character, this obscure episode that I was in love with as a kid. And just the story behind the two powerful swords, because Excalibur being the magical
Yeah.
sword of King Arthur, and then the sword of Thundera being its own magical weapon. It was so cool, and the idea was really neat. So yeah, I want this figure. If Super Seven is listening, you know, give us King Arthur before this line comes to a close, because I love that episode and I would love to
That's a
immortalize these
that's
classics.
a super cool one. I never knew.
Oh, if you
I
have a
never knew
chance
that.
to go on YouTube and find this episode and watch it, it's awesome.
I got you now. I'm gonna do that right after this episode. That is a really cool one. That's a good choice. Hey, maybe even a good choice for figure obscura, right?
There you go. Hey, King Arthur, right up their
King
alley.
Arthur, Merlin. You can do
Merlin the magician.
also. So that's a cool thing for Super Seven to possibly do. This wave is whatever. I I mean I love Thundercats, but I'm not fully into everything. They're cool. I appreciate them, but I'm not going in 100% like I do Turtles. Speaking of Turtles, I just have to go over these really quick with you. These amazing looking Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 2003 cartoon. This is a video from Mr. Lee. I think these are great, man.
These
What
are
do you
really, really cool. Like I said, I love the way Super 7 does their figures. I think their prices are a little stiff for me, but like I do love the way they do the figures, and their packaging is so cool. And like you say, we're turtle junkies, so there's no way I'm passing up on these bad boys. These look fantastic.
They look really good, man. Super 7, sometimes the quality of plastic, the way joints feel can always be a little iffy, but these look really solid. I mean, looks like a brand new, toy line making these.
Yeah.
But they look awesome. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Like I said, I love turtles. I want every version of them. And these look really cool. The green shells are interesting. I don't. Did they have green shells?
I don't remember them being that bright. I remember them being more of like an olive green. I don't know
Yeah,
why
they look
this guy's shell
really.
is so bright, but maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I don't remember perfectly. We've talked about my bad memory, Michael. But I
Oh
actually
yeah,
have
it's
I
foggy.
actually have the original 2003 Ninja Turtles. So I'm gonna dig them up, and I'm gonna take some pictures, and we can compare to these new Super 7 versions. See.
Yeah, because these are coming out pretty soon too.
Mhm. Yeah, they should be out. They should be available at Hidden Temple Toys. So
Hey,
keep an eye
this
out
isn't the
for our posts.
this isn't the best photo, but you can see the sort of green there on the characters.
Yeah, they might be a little lighter on
The
there.
green shell. They look a little lighter but these are pretty light too. So
Yeah,
maybe not the perfect replicated color, but it looks pretty close to it. So I mean, this is again, we're getting super nitpicky with that stuff. You want it to be pretty close to what it is, but still,
yeah.
man. I mean, they look really good. They look really fun. They're double jointed, the elbows and the knees. They can do the full split, the Van Dam. So that's what you need.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I'm curious about the waist and how that thing turns around and how that feels. I think it's just a matter of quality, the
Mhm.
feeling in your hand. But they look cool. They
They
look
look
really
very
good.
cool. Yeah, I am definitely excited to get these in hand and check them out, because, like we said, Super 7, their sculpts are really good. Hopefully the quality is there on these. It looks like they are. And so, yeah,
There's your boy Raph.
there's my boy. Yeah, every time I see him, I'm just excited. More turtles.
He just gets so swollen every time you see
So
Raph.
swollen.
I know.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye
Cool.
out for, because hopefully we'll be able to get those soon.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Really cool stuff there from Super 7.
Yeah.
Always doing some interesting stuff. Speak of interesting, there's something at the door.
Oh,
Where that could be, I
how
think it
exciting. I
is.
love it. I love to hear that
Love that
doorbell.
new figure smell.
Love it. Love that new figure
Sniff it
smell.
up, Michael.
What
Sniff
do we
it up.
have for new figure smell this week, old friend?
Sniff it like you sniff that Cheeto dust.
I do. I'm
You
addicted.
you love Cheetos, don't
I
you?
had Cheetos the other day, and I was just garfing them down like Garfield. And I got my finger, and I just stuck it up my nose. I didn't even care.
Yeah, my son is really addicted to Cheetos too. Uh, it's a pretty gnarly addiction.
Pretty hard. We were talking about Thundercats. I just want to show this off really quick. Found Chitara at Target.
Ooh,
So excited to have her. I was
very
missing her.
nice.
Yeah, I love the art in the back too. The old classic look.
Is that an opener or keep it in the nice packaging?
Oh, this is a rip. This is a ripper.
Ripper and
Call me
dipper.
Jack. I'm gonna rip it. Yeah, I'll open it right now on camera. I don't give a
Whoa,
damn.
whoa! You don't even care. You're a madman.
I am a bad man. I had waited, because a lot of Super 7 stuff was going on clearance, and I kind of took my time to get her, and then she just sold out basically everywhere.
Ooh.
And I just wanted the standard version, and then they started doing these for about $20 cheaper or $30 cheaper even than the deluxe ones, and I was happy with just a regular standard
Yeah.
Chitara.
Honestly, at the end of the day, you put it on your shelf with the other cats, and do you really need all the extra bells and whistles? Not necessarily. It's fun to have, but like I say, good price point. You get the character you really want. You know, you can't
Speaking
beat
of
it.
getting what you want, you got something really interesting over
I
the
did get
weekend.
something really cool. We talked about it on one of our previous shows. We saw it debuted at Celebration, Star Wars Celebration Japan, and now it's here on my table. Yes, you see it correctly. That is the Ronin with
Ronan.
R5D56. What an interesting call number for a droid.
Yeah, I love the design of the box. Let's get
The
that
box
first out of the way.
the box is ridiculous. It is so cool. The way they package. I mean, this is a beautiful box. I'm going to spin it here around so you guys can see. Just
Ooh,
very nice, kind of very Japanese inspired artwork. Oh yeah, you see that kind of like paint, ink kind of painting that they do. Let me see if I can pop this open for you guys.
yeah, prop it open. Love that. It's really cool, man. It's look at that.
Cool this is.
The whole packaging of that is a 10 out of 10.
I mean, they really killed it with this packaging. I mean, it's a wraparound, and you can just kind of see how cool that looks. Like the little strong on there. Let me see if I can tilt it a little so you guys can see a little bit. Nope.
What I was surprised that this was offered on Pulse and Amazon and people were able to get it pretty readily,
Yeah, I mean, it was super, super cool that they were able to do that. And
Where
I
did
mean,
you get on Pulse or Amazon?
this showed up so fast. I ordered mine on Pulse. I have the Pulse membership, so it was easy to get.
Oh,
And
look
I
at
mean,
you, fancy boy.
you can't beat that that speedy delivery, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, these guys are so cool. Talk about one of those like classic kind of characters you want to look at. And I mean, look at how cool that guy looks. And the droid with his
Oh
little
yeah.
hat. I mean, so
Yeah.
cool. I like honestly, I love the packaging so much. I don't want to open them. Like I was, my intention
Rip
was
it! Rip
my
it!
that was my intention to open these bad boys up and mess with them. But at the end of the day, I just love the way it looks in the little box, and I don't want to take them out.
I understand that.
Maybe one day I'll pop them open and just kind of repackage them
Yeah.
so they can
Yeah.
stay in their little box, but I can at least play with them for a little bit.
Mhm.
But
But I
wow,
mean, it looks fantastic just in the box like that. It's almost like why even take it out because it looks so cool.
oh yeah,
The
yeah.
whole yeah.
It's so nice. The packaging, I mean, like I said, they just went all out on this packaging. Super, super well done. Hats off to whoever designed it because they did just a stellar job on it.
Shout out if you're watching this, you killed it. You crushed it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, indeed. Or yes, ma'am.
So yeah, I
So
think, and I think I saw recently that these were still available or they were put back up on Amazon. Um, so people are out there and they want to order one. Um,
well, just the fact that you can do
look
that,
for it. Oh yeah,
that you can just kind of go like, yeah, you know what? I think I want to pick it up, and you could do that. You could have gone
yeah.
to Amazon and done it, which
And
is
just like
really
you
cool.
said, very cool that this because I know this has been a torment for a lot of people over the years. Con exclusives, event exclusives, they're always a bit of a nightmare. You're always afraid, you're not going to be able to get them. But it
Yeah.
just seems like companies are getting the message and they're like, we got to get this out, so the rest of the world, except that aren't attending the event or whatever, can still purchase them. And I've seen a nice, uh, what would you call it? Rise in availability for these kind of things.
How do you feel about that? If you go to an exclusive event, do you want those items to be just exclusive, or do you like that they do become available? Where are you on that side of the war?
Honestly, I'm happy that whoever wants it can get it. I'm
Even
not.
even if you're the one going to the event and you go in line and you wait to get them, you're like, if people can get them online, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't mind. I don't think you go like my purpose of going to events and stuff isn't just to get the merch. Um,
Right.
it's fun to get it there. It's fun to get it maybe earlier because you're at the event and you can just pick them up, and that's kind of the bonus that you get to get it before, it hits online or retail or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big enough bonus for me, to get it at the event. I think people are out there because they're like, well, I want it to be an expensive piece. I want to like get value out of it and have it,
Right.
go up in monetary value. And I don't really think that toy collecting really should be about that. And at the end of the day,
Mhm.
I mean, anything that's like collectible or collector's grade or whatever isn't going to be collectors because everybody has it. Everybody will be holding on to their, piece for, 10, 20 years. And then, you'll try to sell it and you'll realize, wait a minute, this isn't rare. Everybody got one.
Went to your deathbed going, "Oh no, it wasn't rare,"
Wasn't
and
rare.
then
Yeah.
that's how you fade
So no,
away.
yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of like let everybody enjoy it. Those who want it can get it, and people aren't stressing out or feeling like they missed out. And actually, I think it's really nice that people that can't go to the event. Let's say I really wanted to go and enjoy the event, I can't. But hey, at least I can take something home or order something from the event that makes
Yeah,
me feel like I got to
info of it
participate
for sure.
in a way. So yeah, I'm totally okay with that. What about
So
you?
you're not gatekeeping
No,
exclusives.
no, no. You're more the gatekeeper type, Michael.
I'm a
You
real
want
sourpuss.
you want to keep all that for yourself. No one to know
I
about,
want it for
right?
the people that go there that put their
Not even
lives on the
them. You just
line
want
for
it for
these
you.
toys.
Forget
I
all those
it's
people. You want a 1-1 Michael Hernandez exclusive.
Yeah, I just want it for me. I've talked to June at Jada. I'm like, "Come on, just give me something. Give me one that's just for me. No one else can have it." And I just wanna make everyone really jealous. That's the whole point of this game anyway.
That's
It's just
that's what
I to
collecting
get
is
stuff
about,
before
right?
other people and to get stuff that no one else can get. That's the whole reason I
Right.
do this now, for
For
my
the
ego.
selfish ego greed. I love it.
Oh, I'm so insecure. You have no idea. I cry every night. I wake up telling myself I'm going to eat the world,
I'm gonna
and
eat it
it's a
all.
vicious cycle, horrible
Wow.
vicious cycle. Super cool Ronin figure, love it. So glad that you got that one. We had wanted to go to Japan. That would have been cool, but
That would have
maybe
been
we can
really
go.
neat.
You know
That
what? Los Angeles is a lot more manageable.
Yeah,
So
I think we'll be able to manage that, for the con or the show, whatever it is, expo, celebration. But, I still wanna go to Japan though, so gotta make that
yeah,
happen.
that's on the bucket list.
Ooh.
Absolutely. So we got to make that happen. Imagine figures not included in Japan.
Oh my gosh, will that be an episode? We gotta make it 25th, well, I might be able 50th 50th episode live from Japan.
Are we gonna make it to 25?
I don't know, that's what I'm saying.
That's a long. We barely did 10.
I know,
It was a real struggle this time.
it was like pulling teeth to get you on here today.
Yeah, yeah. And my teeth are rotten, so it shouldn't be that hard. But I was fighting against it. It
Like
was,
the
but we
worms
made it
pulled.
happen, man.
We did, we did. We're
We're
here,
making magic happen.
we're making it happen. We're excited to
Yeah.
show you all these things. And speaking of showing you really cool.
Hello!
Oh,
Yep.
Hello!
oh, I know who that is.
What was
That's
that?
old man Ed
Oh,
with a new
man,
episode of The Yellow Wing.
let's show you something cool.
Eyeballs! Gimme, gimme, gimme!
Ugh.
Then on this week's episode of Figures Not Included, the segment of the Yellowing, I almost call it its own episode because the Yellowing could be its own thing, and that was, I mean, for a while when we were trying to come up with names for the show, the Yellow Wing was a
Yeah,
really popular one amongst us.
it was
Yeah.
a high contender. We just didn't know if people were gonna get it or not, and then at the end, we just said, "You know, we're gonna still use it, but we're gonna use it as a segment, and therefore, we can explain
I,
it more."
exactly. I think we sort of we gauged interest on the names, and it wasn't very popular. We tested it, and it didn't have a really positive test score. The
It did
Yellow Wing.
have a very positive test score. A lot
We
of
loved it.
people didn't get it, and I think it was really because people, just don't
They
get
don't
things.
understand.
They're
They
not
don't
as cool
understand.
as we are. They don't understand. People just don't understand.
But what can they understand about this week's Yellow Wing? What do you
All right.
have
So
here?
this week we thought, what can we show off that kind of ties in with something that we've talked about. We talked a lot about Thundercats, and we didn't really know what else to show. Do we show older Thundercats? Do we show maybe like the 2000? What is it? Eight? I forgot what anime version or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I thought to myself, hey, I remember a line that really blew me away that I thought was super super cool, that really reminded me of the Thundercats, and that was Stan Winston's creation, Realm of the Claw. And now we talked about yes, we talked about Chitara. Now,
I can't
what if
believable.
what if the Thundercats were more primal? What if they were more cat-like? And I think that's
Mhm.
kind of what Stan Winston went for here. I don't
With
know
the
if he
claw.
if he based it off of Thundercats or just he liked Animorphs and he liked cats. But check out this one. This one's also her name was like Cheetah, but this one is um based off of a cheetah as well. She's female, so she reminded me a lot of Chitara.
Yeah,
And
she's
check
badass,
this out.
man.
Check this out. Look how cool they did this sculpt. Look how the little detail he did. I mean, such a cool figure. They got their tails, you know,
When did this come out?
armor. Oh my gosh, this line was a while ago. I wish I could remember the date.
Stan Winston's was it?
Realm of the Claw. This was gotta be, oh my gosh. This has to be late 90s, early 2000s, you know? It's
Yeah.
gotta be in there. It's gotta be like 2000. This was really cool. So this line caught me off by surprise. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Stan Winston. He was the genius behind a lot of the FX of the 80s and 90s. He did the Predator suit for Predator. He helped with a lot of like Terminator stuff and a lot of like iconic, special effects. And so he was really into this kind of stuff, and so he made this line. And this line, when I first saw it, it blew me away how well done it was. The sculpting was really really cool. This was like when McFarlane was doing a lot of his like kind of staction figures, and like it was
Yeah.
all more of like design and detail rather than posability and articulation. And I think Stan went ahead and tried a little bit of that, and I think he did a really cool job with this one.
It looks like these were 2003.
There you go, early 2000. And so, um, I remember this line was being so cool when I first saw it. It came in these big, card, bubble blister pack, or whatever they're called, and they were really
Yeah.
large, and they were really, when you went into, I remember KB Toys was where I saw these, and you would go into them, and you would just um, they would just catch your eye, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, these are amazing!" They even came with these huge bases that like resemble like jungle terrain or like old fortresses, like
Yeah,
rundown
look, I have
and
it
stuff.
pulled up here. This the whole package that would
Yes, there's the package one, and that's a perfect one you pulled up because I wanted to show off a couple of them here that I have. I pretty much have all of them. I pulled out a few to show off here today, and this is Lynx, and I have her as well here, the female figures, so we can see
Meow.
what they look like. I just thought they were so
Fuck
cool.
is that?
You can see how neat she was. She came with big swords, Lynx, um,
Very cool.
the cheetah.
Very, very, very
And then I'm
nice.
gonna show off probably my favorite in the line. This was, I guess, like the bad guy. And he was like a saber-toothed tiger. And
Oh man, he's mean and grimacing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
This
lean mean.
figure was so cool. And so, like, you can see they have articulation. So it's really crazy the way he did this. Like, some of them have this like crazy articulation. Like you can see this one has like a crazy ab segment there where he could really kind of like move around. But he has
Yeah, yeah, he's got that torso cut on the diaphragm and the waist, yeah.
but no like elbow cuts or anything.
It's
He has,
interesting.
like
It's like
yeah,
they
he
did like they focused on the stomach, on the torso region, like, "That's good. That's
yeah, look,
we don't need
he has
anything."
ball jointed ankles, but no knee
Oh,
movement, you
no
know,
arms.
no
Do
ball
the
joint.
arms move, like, at the shoulder or no? Do they
Yeah,
go
they move, but,
okay.
actually, no, he does have ball joints in the shoulders, but
Okay.
no elbows,
Yeah,
um, very kinda limited articulation, but
right.
just, these figures I think were more for, like, posing like little statues with minimal mobility to them. They all came with alternate heads, so they all had, like, a closed mouth, a roaring mouth, lots of little accessories and weapons, and like I said, they each came with a huge base where you could stand them. But that was always my biggest thing with displaying these. I didn't have the room for all their massive bases. So yeah, you can see them all here. I loved all of these. I have them. I have the rest of them in a box.
Yes,
But
yes, Saswana, Tear, yeah, Saber there,
mhm.
Makuru? I
Yep.
guess. I mean, these are almost like a precursor to Animal Warriors of the Kingdom in a little
Yeah, very
in a
similar,
sort of
very
way, you
similar.
know?
A lot of people like the Animorphs. The cats always seem to be very popular with lines. A lot of people like to do the cats. We saw that in Jujitsu. We saw that in Animal of the Kingdom. We saw that here
Yeah,
with Winston and so forth. So I don't know if this is all attributed to, Thundercats and how popular they were and just people love anamorphic cats. But yeah, this line was really, really cool. One of my favorite ones. I've had these for a long time, and I just enjoy every time I pull them out to look at them because they were, really well done.
yeah,
A little
great.
bit ahead of its time for the
Yeah,
sculpting, the design of them. So, yeah, really, really hats off to Stan Winston and the team that put these
and the
together.
man.
I wish we would have seen more, but I remember that like these weren't like super popular either. I remember finding a bin one time, and this is like I bought like two or three of them when they first came out, and then I remember finding them at a KB toy store in a bin for $2 a piece, and so I
Whoa.
bought the last three that I was missing. Um, and so I remember I was actually kind of like I was happy, but I was also kind of sad that they were in a $2 dump bin at
Oh, I don't like
maybe
some.
because, I felt like a lot of people kinda missed out on how cool
Yeah.
these figures actually were, and so, yeah, I'm happy that I still have mine. Very cool figures.
We always talk about having a resurgence of old figures. Would you wanna see a new, brand new articulated Realm of the Claw wave, and who would do those?
Oh, I would love to see that, and, like, I mean, we kinda get that in some of the lines we've seen, like, we like, you're talking about Animals of the Kingdom,
And
very
Mythic Legions in a way too, you
cool.
know?
Legions is getting in that. We've seen a lot of more anamorphic creatures coming from them.
Yep,
We're getting the big lion, um that we saw at Legion's Con last year, the
yep,
Odysseus and stuff like that. So they're out there, and there's very cool ones. Like we saw, there's Zujitsu, which are all cats right now, but he's
right.
moving to other characters. So yeah, I mean, really great companies out there doing this kind of figures. Um, but if I had to pick a company to remake these, man, I would say Jada Toys, just because
You can never go wrong with Jada Toys, yeah.
Jada's quality and the way that their figures move, kinda like we were looking at the Sagat last, Street Fighter one we did.
Mhm.
He was a big figure, and, like, his joints and his movement was top quality.
Yeah,
The plastic,
yeah.
everything he uses is really, really good, so I could see these kind of being redone using, Jada's kinda style. Really cool line.
Yeah, Fury Toys, they've done a lot of that
Another one
anthropomorphic
I
stuff.
have a couple Fury Planet figures, which I love. I think they're really, really cool. Very similar to these kind of things. I think, they've kind of like were the evolution of like Realm of the Claw style figures. And
Yeah,
we
100%, 100%. So I
and
think yeah,
yeah, yeah. I love those, but yeah, those can get a little pricey, I think they're like $120 a pop for some of those imported figures. So it would be nice to get something like this in like a $25-$30 price point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you look at something like this one from Fury Toys, this thing looks incredible.
Mhm.
This lion, but
Yeah,
yeah, this is just $100 figure right here. So if you're looking for,
amazing figure. Like,
yeah,
if you've got the extra money and you can buy these kind of things, you're gonna be super, super happy with them. Like I said, I love the Fury Planets, the ones that I have now, and there's other companies doing it too, like Loose Collectors doing some really awesome werewolves and, werebears and stuff like that, and, I think Fury Planet is still pumping these out. There's even a dinosaur one, that's really, really well done. So, yeah, if you like anamorphic figures, there's a lot on the import market, but yeah, they're gonna be a little bit pricey, so I would like to see more of a big mainstream company do them so we can get them at a little bit, happier price point. But either way, fantastic figures all around. Everyone who's doing them is doing a really good job with them. So yeah, I am excited. And like I said, I've always been a big Animorph fan. Probably why I love Ninja Turtles so much. Thundercats, all these kind of anamorphic characters are always really, really cool. I lost your audio.
I was trying to play a trick on you and it didn't work. But no, I just muted myself by accident. So
You just look like dumb.
I look pretty dumb. I mean, that's just how I roll, man. They look at
Oh,
me and they're like, "Oh, there goes that dumb guy again." So
well,
no, I was just saying.
jokes on you, Michael.
I was trying to say that the anthropomorphic stuff, the anthropomorphic animals, they just work. They just always work, no matter how you design them. If you do them
Is it
in
anthropomorphic or anamorphic?
no anthropomorphic,
Anthropomorphic, anamorphic. Yeah, a lot
anthro
of syllables in there.
yeah, anthropomorphic explanations of animal behavior and anthropomorphic terms, having human characteristics.
There you go.
So I know my words.
No,
You
I
don't.
wasn't guiding you.
Even when I mute
I would
myself, I know
hear
my words better
I
than
hear
you.
anamorphic and anthropomorphic, and I was wondering which was the correct term.
Anamorphic Power Rangers.
Anamorphic Power Rangers.
No,
Uh-oh.
yeah, but I mean, just like you can do so many different stylings of these kind of creatures,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it lends itself for all sorts of
So
imagination.
here's a question, Michael. If you could be an anthropomorphic animal, what animal
Ooh,
would you be?
I think I go sloth. That's the
Really?
thing I
Why?
identify with.
Because you're slow and you just like to sleep a lot
I mean, yeah, you're just describing me.
and you never clip your toenails.
I mean, literally, I just clipped them for the first time, like, in 3 months. No, uh, yeah, it was like a Dumb and Dumber scene. No, it's something I think I remember a teacher in middle school pointing me out, and he was like, "That kid's a sloth." And I was just, like, minding my own business. I was like, "Why am I
Really cold
getting bullied?
crap.
Why am I getting bullied by my history teacher?"
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael the Sloth. I love it.
Michael the Sloth. So if someone wants to draw that up, let me see what that figure would look like. What
That would
about
be
you, Ned? What would
that'd be
you go with?
here. You know, and I say this a lot. I identify with a bear. I would be a bear, you know?
You would.
Yeah. But not like the big,
Like the ones in the club?
looking like Kodiak bears. I would be more like a Baloo the bear, you know?
Oh.
More like a honey bear, like
Is
more
that
cuddly,
what
more
they call
cuddly
you in the underground, the honey
more
bear?
yeah, more cuddly and sleepy than
Yeah.
like aggressive and bloodthirsty.
Okay,
I
you're a
just
honey
wanna,
bear.
like, walk around,
Yeah.
eat some
Eat the fruit.
salmon,
Yeah, you
sleep,
Sam, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
chill. So,
So you
I like fishing,
yeah.
I like sleeping, I like eating, exactly what bears like
You
to do,
kinda like a sloth too, a little bit, so
but just not as
a
cool.
lot of sloth tendencies. Well, I'm glad that you, are happy to be part of the bear community. That's a new revelation. Uh,
Yes, yes, actually, my coworker likes to call me a bear for some reason. I don't know what he's getting at. I thought he was saying that I was like, like a cuddly bear, like an animal.
which it might also be another yeah, which
The
might also
more
be
I
true.
talk to him about it, now I'm a little, like, thinking, "Is he implying something? Is there a different terminology that I'm not understanding here?" So, I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you should do some Urban Dictionary searches
I
for
think maybe that's what
bear.
because some of the stuff he was saying didn't really sound like
The
bear
kind of bear you're talking about.
animal bear stuff that I was thinking of. So yeah.
Yeah, I would be careful with saying like, "Yeah, I'm a bear," because you say that around the right or wrong person,
Right or wrong, we don't know.
yeah, you might be bound by leather straps before you know it.
No, yeah.
I'm an assless chap bear.
I need to be careful of. I might keep that one to myself.
Don't go to any bear clubs. Just letting you know if you get invited to one, it's
That's
yeah,
not what I thought it was.
it's a whole different type of bear necessities with
Oh,
that one.
okay, yeah.
That's
That's
a
what
the
it's good to be
BARE.
informed because I could be walking into the wrong scenario real easy.
Yeah, well, talking
Do
about
your
figures.
research, people. That's what we say.
Yeah,
Know
exactly.
what you're talking about.
Know what you're talking about. Wear clothes at all times. If you want to wear cool clothes, we'll dish out some figures not included T-shirts for the people that were inquiring about that with
I
us.
know. We're actually working on some really cool merch. I've been trying to get Mikey on board, but he doesn't really seem to be into the merch right now. I don't know.
I'm into the merch. You showed me some cool things. I'm gung ho, baby. I'm in.
We'll see what happens. If we get his stamp of approval, we'll be bringing some really cool merch for you guys, for us,
We got some
and
stickers to pass around next time we're at a convention. So
yeah, we're gonna have stickers, we're gonna have shirts, and hopefully a lot of other fun stuff to mess
yeah.
around with, and maybe some other cool toy related paraphernalia.
Oh yeah, 100%. Cool toy related stuff is what we do, and figures not included. Ned, great hanging out with you. Any final thoughts?
Thank you guys again. Thank you for your support, and thank you, Michael, for always, making the time and just having fun chatting toys. It's what we do.
Always love doing
What we
this. What
enjoy.
we do. It's what
So
we always do in
yeah,
figures not.
and like we always say, Michael, we love all these toys we talk about here, and I wish we could give them to you folks, but unfortunately,
Figures not included. Have a good night, everyone.
I love Kessler.
who's Kessler?